This is a 1951 Williams Music Mite. It is one of those mini jukeboxes that were out in the 50s. They made a few different versions. I think Chicago Coin had one, Aristocrat had them, Williams had them. And anyway, it was a short-lived jukebox because Seeburg came out with her 100 series and it just blew away everything. But as you can see, this one is damaged. The marquees on these sometimes are warped like this, and I really can't see why. I mean, there's not a lot of heat behind there. You got a couple little light bulbs, and for some reason, a lot of these coin mechs or coin slots are painted yellow. Don't know why, but I've seen a few of them, so it must be a factory deal there. If you come over here, here's another one I have, and this one, the marquee is of course much better. But it's interesting that the bottom section is pink, and if you look over here, this marquee is actually red, and on the side you had the notes were like a greenish blue there, black and orange, and on this side they were the greenish blue with red. So they changed their design just a little bit with their graphics. The Music Mite uses a RCA RP168 record changer, and if you check out 45 Player's videos, he has some really neat videos on how to take the record changer out of the Music Mite and how to replace like the drive wheel and other things to do on this. So check it out. Usually when you get one of these, it's very similar to a pinball machine. You have these steppers, and it's made by Williams, so Williams just used a bunch of parts that he had probably laying around, some pinball parts or baseball machine parts, whatever. Anyway, this is the credit unit, and as you can see, it's gummed up pretty bad. It doesn't want to move, and same with the selector unit. Doesn't want to move, or reset, but doesn't really do anything. So we're going to have to take that apart and clean those. I just finished cleaning up the selector unit, and as you've seen before, this area here was just completely seized. It's amazing what a little bit of dried up grease can do. It wouldn't move at all before, so you can see now that as it gets a pulse, it moves, and then when it resets, it resets. That's how it's supposed to work. I'll show you the back side, because each one of the rivets represent one of the selections, one of the 10 selections. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the reset works just fine. Next, I got the credit unit, and as you can see, this section here, just like the other one, will not move. I mean, it's just totally seized. Just want to show you how tight these things really are. I got everything off it. It should just pull right out, but it doesn't. I actually have a wrench. I've given quite a bit of tension on it. You can see it moving. Okay, in order to remove the turntable to get at the drive wheel, first you have to take off this star wheel. I believe it operates the dropping of the records. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really got one of these to work yet. But anyway, I know the drive wheel is bad, or I'm pretty sure it is. And I'll just show you on this other Music Mite. I just happen to have 2 of them, so it's always nice when you're working on something to have another comparison. But you can see the star right there. And I took that one off. And so now we take this off. It's got some bearings right here, so you gotta be careful. Just put it aside, and that's a piston for the arm, I believe. And as you can see, this thing's been sitting quite some time. It's totally hard and dry rotted. It's got a flat part up on top, which would move the turntable, and the bottom part, which the motor would grab and spin, as was sitting here for quite many years. As you can see, it's It's a little shot. So anyway, we're going to take that off, and then I think I'll just take this all apart and clean it. Okay, I just finished cleaning this record changer over here, and as you can see, it turned out pretty nice. I got a new drive wheel over here that came from Voice of Music. I had it all apart. I was going to take pictures of all the pieces and that, but I really didn't think it was necessary. Just show you how it turned out. It turned out pretty decent. The switches have been adjusted on this one, and everything looks pretty good. Hope it works. I just thought I'd point out a few things while I'm doing this other one. A couple things that I found to be a little trouble when I took this one apart. I took all the pieces apart first, and then I cleaned it. On this one, I left it all together, and then I just sprayed it. I took the springs off, and then I sprayed it with that blue Easy Off, and used a brush like recommended from the one fellow on YouTube, and it worked fantastic. So now I'll just take these individual pieces off and do the post, and it makes it a lot easier. The one thing you might want to note is where the springs go. So on the first one, I drew a picture of the parts, and I just taped it to where the springs went. This time I did an actual picture, and as you can see, I just pretty much took a picture, and then where the springs were, I just taped them on there. So that helps out when you're trying to put it back together, because there's a lot of springs, and they're all different sizes and tensions, so it can get very confusing if you don't take note of where it goes. I have the electrical parts to do still. They have to be cleaned. Then I'll put them on and adjust them. But overall, it's not super hard, but there's just a lot of parts, and besides the springs, you got to be careful about washers. Like there's a washer that goes right over here that you might not realize when you're taking it apart. I believe, you know, this piece here, if you took that off and flipped this over, this washer comes off. A very thin fiber washer, so you want to make sure you put that back on. And then there's another washer over here, a fiber one, you might want to take off before you clean it with the oven cleaner. And that's where your idler drive wheel goes. Another point of interest is inside the turntable, underneath it I should say, you have these bearings. There's one for each, and they are pretty hard to clean. The grease on there is just solid, so I used the oven cleaner, let it sit on there, and used a brush, and it still wouldn't come off, so I had to get a toothbrush, and I did it many times until it finally came clean, and now I can grease them and put them back on. So just take note of your washers and your springs, and the rest of it's a piece of cake.